Hello and welcome to Sega Genesis Classics. In this installment, the game is Afterburner 2, released by Dempa in 1990 as a port to the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive of the 1987 arcade game Afterburner 2. Now, unlike the Sega Master System version, this game is actually fairly faithful to the arcade original and does a pretty good job at emulating the arcade version of the game. So you set off in your jet, but one thing that's different about the Master System version and the Genesis version is the controls. Now, because the Genesis has 3 buttons, it uses the buttons in sort of a novel way. You're automatically always firing your machine gun. You don't have any control over not firing your machine gun. The A button will boost your speed upwards, and the C button will boost your speed downwards, and the B button is your launch missiles. Now, unlike the Master System version of the game, you have only a limited number of missiles here, so you can't just constantly fire your missiles. It makes the game a bit more strategic, and although the graphics are a bit simplified from the arcades, it still is a really impressive game for the Sega Genesis hardware, as it's a game that runs really quickly, and, it's a game that still looks good even after all these years. The Mega Drive and Genesis version of the game also offers multiple difficulty modes, and if you play it on easy, the game is actually, pretty playable for the most part for a little while, before it gets too absurdly difficult. This is a big contrast from, say, the Sega Master System version of the game, which is very, very difficult. And you're going to be lucky to play that game, for maybe 5 minutes before, getting bored of it and turning it off. But the Genesis version you can really enjoy for, quite some time. The game has some great scaling effects, which is something that you didn't typically find on Sega Genesis games. That was something that would be more the Super Nintendo's forte. Although you're constantly firing your machine guns, they rarely, really will hit anything, so it's kind of like a waste of effort. And it's interesting, it's like you have a limited number of missiles, but you can fire machine guns infinitely? How does that even make sense? But get hit once, and you're done. You might be wondering, what happened to Afterburner 1? Well, as far as I can tell, Afterburner 1 and Afterburner 2 are pretty much the same game. I think Afterburner 2 is just like a bug-fixed version of Afterburner 1. And, for all intents and purposes, Afterburner 2 is Afterburner 1. They're pretty much identical. I have played both the games, the arcade versions, and I can't really tell any difference between Afterburner and Afterburner 2. I think they're just, the same game, but bug-fixed. You can also do, your aileron rolls, or your barrel rolls, as they're more commonly called. And the game has, a wonderful sense of speed to it. That's the other thing that really needs to be stressed about this game. It was released pretty early in the Genesis's life, so if you're looking for a copy, you should be able to get it for, a fairly decent price. You gotta watch out for these enemies coming from behind you now. There I go. I wonder if Afterburner has any story. I'm not really sure about that. what kind of story there would be for this game anyway, right? Well, anyway, guys, even though I could keep playing, I'm not gonna. So, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below, and once again, I'll see you guys next time. So, you know, I like the credits here. The credits are Sega Mega Drive 16-bit speed visual. I was like, all this stuff is like, yeah, okay. But it's kind of interesting, like, the cursor to move around in the menu here is a bit clunky. You really have to press really hard to move the cursor around where you want it to be. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you next time.